how to do the transformations, right? Okay, so everybody needs to be paying attention. Phones need to be put away.
How's the zoo?
What's the zoo fun? What'd you guys do?
Kind of walked around, checked out animals.
Did you see the monkeys?
Yep, AC was so fun. I want to go to the monkeys.
You look
Okay,
Look at his hair.
so you guys, the task, please sit down. Okay, but we're moving on, so sit down. Thank you. All right, so your task is that you are going to create a family crest, and I don't know if you guys know what a family crest is. It's like this shape from the old-timey days, and they would have images of things that that family identified with. Like they might have a lion for like strength or something, or like an owl for wisdom, or words in Latin to represent like what their family stood for. And so then they would pass that on, and that was kind of like the family tradition, family mission, all those things. Okay, so you're going to make one, but it's going to be way less serious, right? You're going to come up with 4 images, and it doesn't have to be about your family. It can be just about you, right? You're going to come up with 4 pre-images, and you're going to plot them, and you have to use straight edges only, and you can't use more than 16 points per shape because we don't want it to get too complicated, and I'll tell you how to like make it still creative without having 16 points, or having more than 16 points, okay? So you're going to do that. That's going to be your first step. So this is the first page of the project, okay? So all you're probably going to get to today is coming up with what images you want. Then you're going to have this page where I'm going to look to quadrant 1, and I'm going to be like, okay, well, whatever I put in quadrant 1, I'm going to copy those pre-image coordinates down. And then I have to move them. I have to move whatever I put in quadrant 1 to a different quadrant, because the story is that your family loves it, they just don't like where everything is placed. So you have to move each pre-image to a different quadrant of your family crest, okay? So you would say what it is, you would say what transformation, and then you would say, well, what do I do to the ordered pairs to move it from, say, quadrant 1 to quadrant 3, or what have you? Okay, Maddie, are you paying attention? Okay, close your iPad for me. Thank you. Right? So you have to do that with all 4, right? So quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3. And then when I decide how I'm going to move it, I'm going to put at the top which new quadrant it's going to be in, because you can't have 2 images in the same quadrant. So if I move something from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2, then quadrant 2 is off limits for another image that I create. Okay. The last item that you do needs to have 2 transformations. So you would say, what are they going to be, and what's the first algebraic representation, and you'd put the new ordered pairs here. And then what's the second algebraic representation, you'd put the final ordered pairs here. These are the ones you actually plot. Okay. So this is going to be several days. You're not going to finish this today. It's not going to be homework. We're going to go step by step to try to make it, you know, something that's kind of interesting and also practicing your transformation skills. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys what I came up with, and so you can realize it doesn't have to be overly complex. Okay, so in my family, we love donuts and we love pizza, right? So I put a donut shape down here, and I have an upside down triangle here because I'm going to reflect it, and then it would be like a regular triangle in this quadrant, and then I could decorate it to look like a pizza, right? So if I have, like, this is obviously a pretty boring looking donut, but when I get it to the final copy, because there's another page that has where you're going to put your final images, I'm going to decorate it, and maybe I'll make it look like it has icing, right? Maybe some sprinkles, and I can color it in. So the details of the image are not going to be shown on your pre-image page. The details, the coloring, the shading, the little things you want to put, like if I decide I want to put, like, you know, show that there's cheese and tomato sauce and other toppings, that's what I will add on the final image. This is just the shape, right? So this is just the outline, and then I will decorate it when it gets to its final quadrant, okay? So ultimately your goal is to have a family crest that has 4 images, all colored and looks nice, and people can tell what they are to represent either you, your family, what's important to you, maybe what's important to your family, maybe just your initials. I've had students in the past do like an IU thing or a Purdue thing, and then they color it accordingly. I had a student last period make what looks like a boat, like you can tell it looks like a boat because maybe his family likes to go boating, things like that, okay? So one thing to keep in mind while you're doing this, right, is if you make a giant pre-image up here and you think you're going to transform it down here, why is that not going to work? Because this space is smaller, right? So if you make something huge and unreasonable up here, you're not going to be able to translate it or transform it really easy down here. It has to fit, right? So whatever I make up here, if I decide to move it down here, it's going to have to fit down here. Whatever I put here, I actually decided to dilate this. So I dilated it by 1.5, and then I reflected it. So it's going to actually be bigger and in this quadrant, like a giant donut, right? Does everybody understand what you're working on? So your goal for today is to just come up with 4 pre-images. The ordered pairs have to be on perfect intersections so that you can document them on these pages. So like this is what I did for the donut. I dilated it by 1.5 and then I reflected over the x-axis. And so now when I plot these points, I'll have this giant donut. I know it's going to end up in quadrant 1, and then I can start decorating it. Yes?
You said 4 pre-images. Yeah, wouldn't it just be 2?
I only have 2, but I have to do 2 more. I just haven't done 2 more. So you have 1 pre-image per quadrant, right? 1 symbol per quadrant, and then you have to move them all to a different location.
On a different page, right?
So I will take these ordered. So the reason we have these pages is so then I can just take these and put them on this last final copy page that's currently empty. Yep. Yes. It's 16 points per image. So like, it's just to keep you from getting too extravagant, right? So this one has 12 total points. There's 8 on the outside, 4 on the inside. This one has 3. So like, this one could have 16, this one could have 16, this one could have 16. They could all have up to 16 points, okay? What happened the first year we did this is that everything got way too intricate, and then they just gave up. So keep it simple, and then I'm just going to add all the fun stuff when I actually color it, right? I did have one student last class period that made a cool image, and then they had a point all along the bottom. And I was like, really all you need is a point here and a point here. You connect them, right? So you don't have to do that. You can just be like, all right, I want it to go here, and it would go straight across, right? So smarter. I try to keep it simple. Smarter, not harder. Okay, so I'm going to come around with everybody's getting 4 pages. I didn't do any front to backs so that you can easily look at what you're doing all at one time. So don't try to pass these. Everybody gets their own 4 pages. Okay, you can grab a ruler. You're just going to be using pencil. Don't try to do this in pen. Ultimately, you might have to erase. Okay.
Did you do any now?
You can sit next to other people, but like everybody has to do their own thing.
I don't know.
Please don't move the desks around, guys. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh wait. Actually, I want to see what you have. Yeah, go ahead. I want to see what happens. That'd be really cool.
Molly got it for me.
Everybody get a packet. Okay. No, we're not all sitting in this little huddle right here. No. If you really want to sit in a huddle, go where people wouldn't be coming up to my desk asking for help.
Can we
just
go?
because
Can we go in that corner?
perfect. Yeah, I just don't want people to be tripping over you. Okay. Or you
Grab
getting
my paper.
I'll go get a pencil from my
I'll
pocket.
grab your paper.
Yeah. Okay.